Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
Labor Day weekend edition, Elevating with Marcia, Sports Byline broadcast, Sirius XM 211 American Forces Radio Network. Safe travels to everyone out and about, and football is getting underway. We kick off another week.
I'm excited. September 10th cannot come fast enough. Forgot it was Labor Day weekend. Can't believe it. But yeah, Labor Day weekend here. A lot of childhood memories of the Jerry Lewis Telethon for muscular dystrophy. And I used to get all anxiety-ridden about the start of school. And actually, it's kind of fitting because that's kind of where we're going to delve into the show today. So yeah, very excited.
Yeah, we'll talk about fear and some other things too. But yeah, NFL football Thursday night, NBC. Per the custom, the defending world champion will kick off the new season. That's been a lot of the Patriots lately, but it'll be Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun, Houston. What a matchup, week one.
Oh, very exciting. Yeah. Love Deshaun Watson. Did a little surveillance with him the other day on Twitter, and he was trying to locate a family who was being evicted over COVID, finances, resources, and he's such a great guy. Love Deshaun Watson. So I hope that I'm going to have to check out later to see if he ever contacted that family. But yeah, could it be, this is my favorite time of year. I love summer. It is absolutely beautiful. But football season, I'm telling you, a little different this year, but nonetheless, still very excited.
Yeah, what's interesting is the teams that will have fans. The Chiefs will have 16,000 only, and they're going to do it week by week. They're going to allow 4 groups of 4,000 in the stadium. The Patriots say no. The Cowboys say yes. The Raiders say no. There's a lot there, Boston.com, BostonGlobe.com, Ben Volen. It's going to be very interesting. And it's going to be weird to go to a football game or not be able to go to a football game.
Well, that, but I mean, the fake fans that they have in the stands, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's our new normal right now, but I highly suspect very soon we're going to be going back to normal. Just my hunch. Yeah. And we'll get through it. No matter what, football's coming. I'm in a good mood.
All right, Elevating with Marcia, we kick it off. It's Labor Day weekend. If you're out and about and you're traveling the Northeast, the West Coast, down south, wherever you are, across the country and around the world, have a safe and happy last weekend of summer. We come back. It's Elevating with Marcia, Sports Byline broadcast, Sirius XM 211 American Forces Radio Network. Coming right back.
The world is changing so fast these days. You ever feel like you're not keeping up personally or professionally? Enter Elevated Media ESQ. Elevating with Marcia allows you to advertise in a forum you never thought possible. They feature a business in an interview-type fashion, which is comfortable, amazingly affordable, and flexible. Not only that, the feature on your business is then formulated into a podcast for convenient, on-demand listening 24/7, 365. These times we're living in demand a different, clearer, more concise message. Does this sound like how you feel about how you market and advertise your business? Reach out today, no matter how big or small your business is. Elevating with Marcia is highly effective, and you'll be so grateful for the superfans she'll create. Email hello@elevatedmediaesq.com. Elevated Media ESQ, changing your business for the better.
At Advance Auto Parts, we have same-day delivery, same-day contact-free curbside pickup, and same-day in-store pickup to keep you going. And we have the right oil, right filter, right price every day to keep your vehicle going. Get 5 quarts of full synthetic Valvoline, Mobile One, Pennzoil Platinum, or Castrol Edge with a Fram titanium oil filter for just $33.99. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
3rd floor study hall.
1st floor homeroom. My dining room table.
Wherever school happens for you this year, Staples has everything from notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to face masks. Now at Staples, get 20% off your in-store purchase of hand sanitizer, masks, and other PPE products. Go to staples.com/20off PPE for your coupon.
In front of the TV.
No chance, kiddo. Staples. Shop in-store or pick up curbside. Ends 8/22. In-store only. Exclusions apply. See store for details. Curbside available in most stores.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, don't worry. There's a bright side. The experts at brightsidetaxrelief.com will protect you from having your wages garnished, money deducted from your bank account, and your home or business seized. brightsidetaxrelief.com will fight the IRS and negotiate to reduce or eliminate the amount you owe. Visit brightsidetaxrelief.com or call 800-730-4313. That's 800-730-4313. The consultation is free. Go to brightsidetaxrelief.com now.
Between jobs, retiring, or just need health or life insurance, please visit myhealth-quotes.com or call 833-687-5261. Before you try to get a quote online, call us. We will provide you with the information most sites will not. We teach you exactly what life or health insurance plan you qualify for, how to use your plan, and maximize your benefits. We provide you with the information to make a knowledge-based decision to ensure selecting the right plan. myhealth-quotes.com to schedule an appointment.
All right, welcome back. It is Elevating with Marcia, Sports Byline broadcast, Syrian to 11 American Forces Radio Network. All right, Labor Day weekend. We talked about it when you were a kid, back to school, fear, anxiety. Where do you want to go with this? This is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember you'd hear the advertisements on TV about the Jerry Lewis telethon. I mean, that was just the indication, summer's over, back to school. And I just remember just not wanting to add. And just every time I would see the ad for it on TV, I'd cringe, knowing it was time to go back to school. And then it's kind of funny because once you get back into school, you see your friends, you get back in the swing of things and everything's good. However, things are quite different this year. There is so much controversy surrounding the schooling at home. States are doing it one way. It's just, I'm listening to a lot of people on social media talk about it, how, they're trying to for children at home, ages ranging from, this is just an example, 5 to 14. Both parents work from home. They're pulling their hair out, trying to figure out how they're going to manage home education, jobs, and stress and everything. So it comes down to faith or fear, and that's going to be the tone of the show today.
All right, so let's start with fear. You get up in the morning, you get that pang, you're pit in your stomach, you're thinking about maybe your job, maybe you're working from home, you're in a routine that you're not accustomed to, absence of information, human mind. Talked about that. Where do you go with fear?
I knew you were going to start that off that way. I knew that you were going to immediately go to the fear part of it. Isn't that interesting? That even you, when I said faith or fear, you took the latter. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, absence of knowing where Marcia was going to go, I went negative.
No, you had no idea where I was going with that. But isn't that the truth, though? Faith. I said faith or fear. You automatically picked up on the fear. That is what I am fascinated by, that how many times during the course of our day we allow the emotion of fear, the feeling of fear to creep into our day and kind of overtake us. It affects how we do our job, drive our cars, deal with our spouses, significant others, our family members, our boss, the mailman. I mean, it really is amazing how much of it does creep into the course of our day. But interestingly enough, have you ever sat back and recognized how many times we take faith at face value? Think about it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so go ahead, expound.
Okay, so when you get in your car, let's just talk about so you get in your car and you start your car and you drive your car. Do you automatically assume your brakes are going to work? Do you have faith that your brakes are going to work?
Mm-hmm.
You don't always have faith your car is going to start. You could be driving a clunker and not have that luxury of, some people have the fear of whether or not their car is going to start. But using the brakes as an example, how many times do we get into our car? Do you ever think about, geez, I hope my brakes work? No, of course you don't. But why is it that when we get up in the morning, we immediately, again, I use that grid of 100. If you're at 50% and you have the ability to go towards faith, and I'm really, and I mean this, I'm not talking about faith and fear in a biblical sense, although you could apply it to that.
Yep.
But for demonstration purposes, I'm really talking about the faith and fear that we have in ourselves,
right? And
how blindly we have faith that the sun will come up. We have faith that the sun will produce a sunset. We have faith that our brakes will work. We have faith that the electricity will remain on in our homes, that for some reason we're not going to lose our electricity. I'm not talking about not paying your bill. I'm talking about in general. It's amazing how many things that we take, in the face of faith, and how many things we actually look for to find fear in. So it's kind of interesting how the human mind works that way, but yet you see it all the time. So, now, we've talked about the faith portion of it and how we sometimes just take it for, for face value or faith. And then you have the fear factor where we automatically just get up in the morning and the mind will go negative. We'll automatically start thinking about, maybe an altercation you had with your boss. I mean, a lot of people, I think right now, due to COVID, are experiencing a lot of fear of losing their job, fear of getting their mortgage paid, rent paid, groceries, again, schooling their children at home. Working from home. There are people say to me all the time, I'm just not one that can work from home. I need to go into an office. I need that socialization. So that's been affected. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. We're, as human nature dictates, we really don't like change. Very few people like change. Some people think they like change. Deep down, they really don't. They struggle with that. But for some reason, they do allow the fear factor to creep in and overtake them, whether it's their job. I never get into my car and, oh my gosh, I hope I don't get into a car accident. I have faith I'm not. Odds are I won't. But it is interesting how many times the mind, as we've said on previous shows, absence of information, the mind will go negative. But even with information, the mind will go negative. Yeah. The statistically, speaking, this happening and that happening. What do they say? 99% of what we fear never comes true, but yet we marinate in it all day. So yeah. So we're going to talk about that and, just some techniques on how you can kind of overcome that.
Yeah. One part of this that I'm interested in, because I did a little research, and that is, and I think this is true, fear's a great motivator, though. I mean, so there's good fear and there's bad fear. There's the fear in healthy doses. It motivates people.
Absolutely. Yeah. I often wonder, what is the mindset of a football player going to the Super Bowl? They're all at the hotel. They're getting ready to go over to the field to play the biggest game of the year. And I often wonder, is it fear that they feel, or do they have faith that they're going to win the game? And if 90% of the team has faith and the other team, 90% of them have fear, well, I've got a pretty good guess how that game's going to go. Yeah. So it really is teaching yourself to override, and you're 100% correct. Faith can be that fuel for your faith and propel you to take action and fix things. But, as we've talked before, faith, at times can certainly be the breeding ground for, mild depression, severe depression, situational depression, or it can be a precursor to, daily anxiety that people really struggle with. So it really is, you're 100% correct, being able to catapult that fear into some good. And again, I relate back to sports where people are, getting ready to play, the World Series, the Ryder Cup, the Super Bowl. And, what is their mindset before they step on that field, and whether or not they're able to harness that fear and put faith in themselves that they're going to win that game.
Yeah, well, confidence and their preparation that goes into it. So, I mean, it's a fascinating topic. I'm just amazed how in different forms fear shows up. I mean, your self-will, you take control of the situation. Like you mentioned with the virus, some people don't know, maybe out of their control. I think that's where they get fearful, when they don't have control, or they perceive that they don't have control.
Well, that's absolutely right. And a lot of times the fear is warranted, for sure. Yeah. But I'm going to talk a little bit about that in the next segment, how, you really have, if you can tip the scales to where you're operating under a faith mindset versus a fearful mindset, you really have to, almost incorporate that into your life. Because if not, and I'm going to talk about this in the next segment, what happens when you do get a situation where you are completely faced with the situation where you have every right to be fearful, and how you're going to process that if you've used your reserves your whole life on things that at the end of the day you feared and they never manufactured.
Elevating with Marcia, Sports Byline broadcast. These are all in podcast form too, folks. And that's at elevatedmediaesq.com. If they want to reach you, Marsh, how do they do it?
Hello at elevatedmediaesq.com. All the shows are archived on the main page of the website. That's elevatedmediaesq.com. If you'd like to reach out to me, please email me at elevatedmediaesq.com.
All right, there you go. hello@elevatedmediaesq.com. Don't forget, if you're a business owner out there too, boy, oh boy, businesses right now, podcasting
is
since February or March, when COVID took place, podcasting listenership across this country, both audio and video, is through the roof. And Elevated Media can help you. You go to the website, elevatedmediaesq.com. They'll help you out. All right, we're coming back. Elevating with Marcia. It's Labor Day weekend. Travel safe on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. Coming right back.
Have you written a book? You can become a published author with Dorrance Publishing, the nation's oldest publishing services company. Countless authors have trusted Dorrance for nearly 100 years to bring their book to the market. Our professional team will edit your text, design your book pages, and create an appealing, eye-catching custom cover. Plus, our authors benefit from a custom book promotion marketing campaign that makes your book available where people buy books, like Amazon and brick-and-mortar bookstores. So make this free call right now to claim your free author's guide to publishing. Don't wait another day. Take one step closer to realizing your dream of becoming a published author and seeing your name in print. You've already written a book, so the next thing to do is make this free call right now to Dorrance Publishing and get your free guide to publishing. Call right now.
800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. That's 800-485-6003.
I'm going to tell you how you can get real health care for as little as $6 a day. Yes, now you can get affordable health care for you and your family immediately and save as much as 50% off your current monthly health care payments. Our plans are perfect for people that are self-employed, can't afford health benefits where they work, or just want to pay less for their current health care. And coverage is guaranteed regardless of your medical condition. We even offer some of the new Christian faith-based health benefits. Save up to 50% on your family's health care. Make a free quick call now. There are no contracts, and we give you a 10-day money-back trial period. Call Provision Enrollment right now for your risk-free, guaranteed health insurance quote starting at $6 a day.
800-472-5145. 800-472-5145. That's 800-472-5145.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
Labor Day weekend edition. It's Elevating with Marcia Sports Byline broadcast. Lots to get to. NFL football kicks off Thursday night, 7:30 East, 6:30 Central, and 4:30 out in the West Coast. NBC will have it. Texans, Deshaun Johnson in Houston, Patrick Mahomes, World Champion Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. All right, fear and some other interesting things that you're delving into this week.
Right. So we talked in the previous segment, we were talking about how you are always going to have situations where fear is validated. Things happen in our lives. The whole COVID thing, I think, is a very good example of how your life can be going along swimmingly and all of a sudden you get thrown a curveball. So I'm going to give you a personal example of what happened. So about 5 years ago, my sister in May passed away from Lou Gehrig's disease. Many people know it as ALS. It's a very, very debilitating disease, very debilitating. The prognosis in most cases is not good. The average life expectancy is 3 to 5 years. My sister, from diagnosis to the time that she passed, was about 18 months. It was probably the most difficult thing I ever watched anybody go through. But something kind of interesting happened. So, she was exhibiting some symptoms of ALS, weakness. She was a fabulous cook, and she lived in Indianapolis. She had come home for a vacation. It was before she was diagnosed. We suspected something was wrong. Her speech was impaired. She was a fabulous cook, and I remember I had gone out to pick up some stuff. We were having a family cookout, and one of the things she made beautifully that were like a piece of art was a salad. And I remember coming in and looking at the salad and just noticing how it clearly wasn't her caliber. So, from that point, it was a matter of the big thing about getting her diagnosed was I think everyone was just paralyzed with fear. Everyone feared the worst. Unfortunately, in this instance, our fears were validated because, unfortunately, she did have Lou Gehrig's disease. But it was an interesting shift of emotion when she got the official diagnosis. I was actually in Indianapolis with her at the neurologist when she was diagnosed. And I just remember all of the, the interactions that I had and all the feelings and thoughts and everything that I was processing about whether she did or did not have the ALS. I in my mind was convinced she had it. Now, I'm giving you this example because it's not that I was being fearful that she had it. It's just that with my research, I concluded that that's pretty, in all probability what she had. Mm-hmm. When I took her to the neurologist, they did need to run some tests, but even the neurologist said to me, do you think you know what she has? And I said yes. And he said, don't say anything, I just let's confirm it, which obviously a few weeks later we did. But I remember the day that she was officially diagnosed, I was getting ready to fly back to Massachusetts. And I remember trying to watch her trying to eat a salad. And, we were having lunch together and I just was overwhelmed by how she was processing that. I just couldn't imagine, given a diagnosis like that. And she was just sitting there very quietly. And I was trying to get into her mind on how she was processing all of that. It was just really strange to me. I had never dealt with anything like that before. Yeah. So it was very, very strange, and trying to figure out how she was processing all of that. And she didn't seem to have, I think she had more fear prior to the diagnosis. I remember certain things, conversations that her and I had privately about her diagnosis and how she was relieved it wasn't her children. She understood, I think, the severity of what she had, but she really didn't want to talk about what the outcome was going to be. She didn't seem to want to talk about that. But it was just strange. But after I realized that, in my mind, that at that point I had to exchange my fear that I had into faith. Now, at that point, it probably was of a little bit of a biblical tone, because I was obviously praying to God that he would spare her from the devastation of that disease. And unfortunately, he did not. It is what it is. I know that's cliche, but at that juncture, I remember calling my husband saying, I can't leave. I need to stay, longer to be with her, because it was just so devastating for everybody, especially for her and her husband and her children and everyone involved. It was just a very devastating diagnosis. But at that point, I committed in my mind that I wanted to have faith in myself, that I was going to make whatever remaining time that she had to be the best. I had to have faith, because I felt if I didn't have faith, she wouldn't have the faith. And faith and fear can be very contagious. And I felt that at that point, I really needed to shift my thinking and have the faith that we would get through that no matter what, and make whatever remaining time she had the best I possibly could make it. So it really comes down to, recognizing whether or not you're operating under fear or operating under faith. And again, I'm not specifically talking about a biblical sense of it, although that's fine too. But it really comes down to more of being able to not rob yourself of the moment. And it's strange, because fear will we have a fear of failure. It holds us back from trying new things. We have fear of the future. In her case, it was the fear of the future, and it will rob you of the joy today. So that's really what I was trying to hit home with her, was we had to forget the fear. We already knew what we knew, on our research and what the doctor had said, and the doctor explained, and what the ALS clinic had explained. At that point, I didn't want to become paralyzed with fear. I wanted to become faithful in faith, and make sure that all of the time that she had remaining was the best that we could make it.
It's fascinating. I mean, I don't know how to even respond, other than the fact that there's fear, and then there's being told something that you should be afraid of.
Well, that's just it. Once you accept the consequences. Now, I'll never accept the fact that she got ALS, but to this day, I why her? We all say that. Why me? But if you accept it, you're able to then pivot and do the things that you need to do. I, for one, I do not fear death. I really don't. I feel like we're all given X amount of days, minutes, hours, months, years on this earth. I say this all the time on the show. I'm always in the minute to win it. If I've thrown a challenge, my first thought is always, every problem has a solution. What are my options? And then I kick into high gear. And I weigh my options, and I go right through them until I have solved that problem. That's me. That's just the way I operate. And that was kind of the mindset that I had, was I could not change the outcome. Many times we wallow in the diagnosis, or what, and it's great to be a good advocate for yourself, and obviously weigh your options on your health care or whatever it happens to be. But in the case of something like ALS, it's pretty they're pretty straightforward, with the outcome. There's people that live, 5 years, 10 years. There's people, Stephen Hawking's, I believe, was 25 years post-diagnosis with ALS.
But the reality is, it's by and large, you said like 3 to 5 years. Right?
It is, yeah. and I just, like I said, I wanted to pivot at that point. Watching her eat that salad that day, it was like, okay, we had a lot of fear about what the potential diagnosis was. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
The only thing we can do is deal with what's the hand that we've been dealt and try to make the best of it. And that was kind of my mission that day forward, was to make sure that we made every day the best we could possibly make it for her.
Yeah, it's an interesting story and fascinating, and getting that news is, I can't imagine.
I can't either. Like I said, I don't fear death, but I certainly don't welcome anything to that magnitude or anything for that matter. So, yeah. On the next segment, we'll get into a little bit more about, what fear does to your body and how you can respond to it.
All right. We come back. It's Elevating with Marcia, Sports Byline Broadcast Network. Again, NFL football Thursday night, 7:30 on NBC. College football. Do you realize, folks, had there not been COVID-19, we would be awash in college football right now. But Pac-12, Big Ten say no, but the ACC and Notre Dame and a few others are going to play football. So we look forward to that. All right. How did they get a hold of you once again, Marcia?
Hello at elevatedmediaesq.com. Again, that's hello at elevatedmediaesq.com. And we will be right back. If you're not using podcasting for your business, you will. Not having a podcast is like not having a website. Hi, this is Marcia Hawkins of Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM Channel 211, the Dan Patrick Channel. You can get your business on my podcast. It's a great way to create superfans for your business with a controlled message in a news format. What better way to get in front of your intended audience, your clients, your customers, or patients? Please contact me at hello@elevatedmediaesq.com about getting your business on my show, Elevating with Marcia. We also can create a personalized podcast that you can use on your website or social media channels. Contact me at hello@elevatedmediaesq.com and join me on Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM Channel 211, the Dan Patrick Channel.
With the real estate market evolving, realtors stand ready to help. Realtors are an expert voice of reason in changing times, and they're working in new ways to guide you through virtual showings and safe closings, to be your ally in the fight for mortgage relief, to understand a neighborhood the way no algorithm can. That's the role of a realtor. This is a real estate season like no other, and realtors are ready. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
If you knew there was an energy shot that also helped you lose weight, would you try it? Real Ketones Keto Energy Shots give you sustained energy without the sugar, jitters, or crash. That's why Keto Energy Shots constantly get 5-star reviews. The secret is our patented all-natural ingredient DBHB. This powerful ingredient revs up your metabolism and turns your body into a fat-burning machine in only minutes. Feel energized while shredding unwanted pounds. Pull into a CVS now and look for Keto Energy Shots in the weight loss aisle, or go to realketones.com.
Now that we're getting back on the road, the stops we make seem more special than before. Stop to see a friend. Stop at your favorite store. Stop at the places you missed most. And to keep you going between those stops, there's Shell. Stopping to fill up with our best fuel ever. Save with the Fuel Rewards program. And to get snacks and essentials that can save you even more at the pump. That's just a few of the ways Shell helps you make the most of the stop you need to make. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
Between jobs, retiring, or just need health or life insurance, please visit myhealth-quotes.com or call 833-687-5261. Before you try to get a quote online, call us. We will provide you with the information most sites will not. We teach you exactly what life or health insurance plan you qualify for, how to use your plan, and maximize your benefits. We provide you with the information to make a knowledge-based decision to ensure selecting the right plan. myhealth-quotes.com to schedule an appointment.
Welcome back. Sports Byline broadcast, Sirius XM 211. It's the Dan Patrick Show channel. American Forces Radio Network, Stitcher, also iHeartRadio apps across the country and around the world. Awesome place. Amazon Audible as well. It's Elevating with Marcia, talking, some sports, and the NFL football going to kick off Thursday night, college football, NBA, NHL, everything. Baseball is in a high gear as we head towards September. How weird was it, too, on Saturday to have the Kentucky Derby? I mean, it's just weird.
Yeah, that was strange. Yeah. I couldn't get into it. In fact, I don't even know. Did the Belmont race? I mean,
yeah, Belmont and.
See, I feel like I'm so out of touch with that. Do we have a Triple Crown? I mean, I know we don't, but strange. Yeah, I know. This year's just
Well, you've been talking a lot about ALS, and all I could think of is Tom Watson from Kansas City, great golfer, and his caddy Bruce Edwards, when he got diagnosed with ALS, ultimately died. And the book that John Feinstein wrote about that relationship was just amazing. So it was a gut-wrenching story. But again, it was under the auspices of fear, and you want to take another few moments to what does fear do to you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, because you look at someone like Steve Gleason, New Orleans Saints. I mean, he has taken this whole diagnosis. Again, he opted to have a trach. A lot of ALS patients opt not to have that. The usual progression of ALS is, it affects your speech, your muscles. People don't realize the devastation that ALS will do to you. You could have, a couple of years into the disease, you might not be able to talk, move. You've got an itch on your foot. You cannot scratch, nor can you tell someone that you have an itch on your foot.
Right.
You can, you're basically entombed in your body, and there's nothing you can do. The eventuality is you can't breathe. So at that juncture, coming down with pneumonia quite a bit happens, and patients opt to have a tracheotomy, or they opt to not, which obviously the outcome of that is what we've already discussed. So a lot of patients do and a lot don't. Steve Gleason opted to do that, and he's just done wonderful, wonderful things for the ALS foundations. He will help people in need. It's a very financially devastating disease, so he's raised a lot of money for people. I mean, he's just wonderful. A lot of, towards the end, a lot of them will have to use the Tobii eye gaze machine to communicate. He raises money for people that don't have the funds to, insurance doesn't always cover everything. So, he was one, again, that took his fear and turned it into faith, and was able to, do a lot with his diagnosis. Some people have that ability to do that. Some people do not. And, a lot has to do with the fact that he's very high profile, and I understand all that. But he's done wonders for the ALS community. I cannot say enough. Several NFL players have been diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. And it's just shocking how many people, military gets affected with ALS quite a bit. And every 90 minutes, I believe it is, someone's diagnosed with ALS. It might even be 90 seconds. I don't know. I'd have to look at my stats on that, but it's a debilitating disease. And it's just being able to, take that diagnosis and pivot and have the faith and live the rest of your life, whatever that looks like, in the capacity on your terms.
Okay, so let's get back to fear itself. And you mentioned going into the break, not necessarily how to deal with it, but what does it do to you? I'll speak for myself. To me, it paralyzes me. I'm caught in a web of indecision. I'm afraid to make a decision for fear.
Yeah, that's a good point.
For fear of making the wrong decision.
Right. Fear triggers 1,400 known physical and chemical responses in your brain and body. Very few people understand that. Yeah. So that alone, it's, you get the cortisol going, there's a lot of, physical factors that fear will trigger. It also will trigger 30 different hormone neuroreceptors in your mind. So all of a sudden your body is operating in a different sphere than you're accustomed to. Yep. But that's just it. Sometimes I go back to, if it's manufactured fear, in other words, 99% of all of what you fear never comes true anyways. If you're feeding on that, like a shark feeding on a school of fish, you're going to get satiated with that, and you're going to keep going. And my thought process is, you've got to be able to cut that off at the knees and say, no, I'm not going to do that. Again, it's hard to do. I recognize that. I, for some reason, have never, I'm one of those ones when I'm thrown something, I take it, and again, I ask myself, okay, what are my options? Every problem has a solution. Most people do. You are 100% correct. They get paralyzed with fear, which is why they don't move on from it. And it's just not, again, it's funny because like I said, you get in your car and you just assume that those brakes are going to work. So why is it that we're not able to then flip that switch when we have unfounded fears going on that may never materialize, and yet we marinate on that and we can't move past it? So it really is just kind of retraining your brain to say to yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen, even if that did come true? I always say, if you're not going to die, you can probably handle it.
Yeah, that's interesting. So retraining your mind. So how do you go about that? Do you have any ideas?
I do it through meditation. I've talked about this on previous shows. There is a great way to sit down there. I love to walk. I love to work out. And in most of the times when I'm walking or I'm working out, yoga, Pilates, bar, whatever I happen to be doing, I'm simultaneously meditating. It's a great way to kind of put everything into perspective. I detach. You've got to find a way to detach. Now we're in the midst of COVID. Okay, we're in the midst of a pandemic. So this is a really good example. It is going to precipitate fear because of the unknown, job loss, paying the mortgage, rent. We've talked about that. But why on benign things are we not able to flip that switch? Save it for the big stuff. Save your fear for the big stuff, a medical diagnosis, a loss of job. Anything that you are in most, in all likelihood, you're not going to have that much control over it. If you're able to do that and detach from it. So with COVID, so let's use that as an example. With the COVID going on, marinating on every single story that comes across your news feed, or constantly marinating in the news, is really going to anchor you in that fear versus trying to emerge out of it. Right. So you have to learn to detach from it. And it sounds easy. It is harder than I am saying it. But once you learn that technique, it is actually pretty easy to do it. I mean, I remember one time I'm driving in my car, and I don't even remember what it was, but there was something I kind of and I was able to detach from it. Now, when my son was deployed to Iraq, that was completely different. Again, I like to have that reserve, that fear reserve that is warranted. I had that fear reserve when my sister was diagnosed. I had that fear reserve, when I taken care of my mom. I have a lot of that in my reserve, so I'm able to deal with that. Where if you burn it up on the benign stuff that may or may never happen in your life, I'm not so sure you're going to have the reserve when the big stuff happens.
The other thing I learned too is you think you're alone. Your fears. You think you're all by yourself. They say misery loves company. Fear loves company too, because I think it's sometimes soothing to know and accepting the fact that you're not alone. a lot of people have fears.
Most people think everything they're going through, they isolate their thoughts, they isolate their fear, and they isolate their faith as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're not recognizing that, you take someone who is going through financial trouble, they think, oh my gosh, they're the only one going through that. They don't realize that people who are very, very wealthy go through hard
Mm-hmm.
financial times as well. People, it's just the numbers are just a lot bigger. If you're trying to pay your, $1,200 rent or your $2,000 rent, and someone's trying to hit a loan note with their bank for $2 million, the numbers are just bigger. So I think we tend to isolate ourselves and feel like we're the only one going through that, when in reality, it's not true. We all go through anxiety. We all have, bouts where we're maybe not feeling 100%, maybe mild depression, maybe full-blown depression. It might be that, we're not able to tap our faith in ourselves and that we're going to overcome it. But the reality of it is, most of the time we do.
Yeah. And in terms of dealing with it, we could start a whole new show, but a lot of times people then make
poor choices.
They grab alcohol, they grab drugs, gambling, they grab anything to grab a hold of to just kind of to mask what's going on and to cover it up.
What is alcohol? A depressant. All you're doing, that's an accelerant for your fear.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you had a drink and felt a little bit better, only to 3 hours later go, bam, you get hit with a brick in the head and problem back. So it is. There are a lot of. It's a personal decision to be able to flip it from fear to faith. But once you get in the habit of doing it, you will be shocked at how easy. Again, you have to accept the circumstances, whatever it happens to be. In my case, with my sister, accepting her diagnosis and being committed to making every day she had there for, from that day forward, the best it could possibly be. Whatever the challenge is, weigh what your options are. What is the worst that can happen? What is the least that could happen? And then take it from there. Once you get into that mindset, you can kind of detach from it and go, I know the outcome and I'm going to move forward. It sounds easy. For me, for whatever reason, it has been very easy for me to do that throughout my life. I know it is difficult, but there are techniques that you can incorporate. Like I said, try to, accept whatever it is that's going on. If it's valid fear, I'm not talking about manufactured fear. When it's valid fear, accept what you're dealt with. Weigh the options from the least to the worst. Hope for the best, and obviously, if there's things that you can do to counter the outcome of all of that, you got to take action. Execute your options.
All the shows here on Sports Byline are archived at elevatedmediaesq.com. They're in podcast form. And coming up, Elevating with Marcia. She's going to have a 2-minute drill, and I'm going to force her to talk about maybe the fall and tourism, maybe the Berkshires in Massachusetts. She's got a lot of experience up there. In the weeks ahead, we hope to be talking to some people out there across the country, too, as we get into the fall season. It's right around the corner.
Yeah, very excited. Fall in New England is absolutely beautiful. We are in a little bit of a drought up here, but absolutely beautiful. The leaves are just getting ready to change. Summer here today, but we did have a little taste of fall a few days ago. But it is beautiful. We got a lot of friends, a lot of advertisers up in the Berkshires that will be bringing on the show. And yeah, it's wonderful. Wonderful time of year.
All right. Again, to get a hold of Marcia, it's hello@elevatedmediaesq.com. Hello at elevatedmediaesq.com goes directly to her, and she responds to each and every email just as long as you sign your name. And if you have a business too, folks, podcasting, as we suggested earlier, is huge right now. Even people who are independent contractors by themselves, a podcast is certainly something that you should look into, and Marcia at Elevated Media can help you. Hello at elevatedmediaesq.com. We're coming back. The 2-minute drill, Elevating with Marcia, Sports Byline broadcast, Sirius XM.
Do you have a story to share? Your story. Lifetime Private Autobiography Services can help. We will interview you by video or phone to get your memories in your words using your pictures. Our staff of talented writers will then recreate your story into a beautifully handcrafted book. You'll receive 10 individual copies for friends and family to enjoy for generations to come. Visit privateautobiography.com to schedule a free consultation. Mention this ad for a bonus audio recording from your personal interviews. To get started, visit privateautobiography.com or call 844-921-2802. That's 844-921-2802. Remember and be remembered with this gift of a lifetime.
At 28, I had struggled with opiate and meth addiction for 12 years. I did and said things that the sober me never would have done. One day I realized I was not invincible. I was not exempt. And that's when a friend told me about elite rehab placement. They gave me the tools I needed to get sober, and all it took was the one phone call.
Elite Rehab can help you start to break your addiction problem and get sober in as little as 7 days. And we'll work with your insurance provider to help cover the costs. Plus, we have travel assistance programs to get you here by plane or train. Make this free call right now to learn more. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. That's 800-403-5912.
Hello and welcome back to the Ronnie Deutsch Tax Program. On the line is Paul from California. Hi, Paul. What's your tax problem today?
Hi, Ronnie. Love your show. Listen, I've got a big problem. You see, my paycheck was garnished last week, and I'm only getting half the normal amount. To make matters worse, the IRS froze my bank account. Listen, I'm embarrassed and scared. I need some help.
Listen, Paul, you don't need to feel embarrassed. You just need some tax help. And the great news is the IRS has some unbelievable programs that can eliminate your tax debt so you don't have to worry about having your paycheck garnished or your bank levied. Doesn't that sound great?
It sure does, Ronnie.
Then do yourself a huge favor and get a free consultation right now and tell them the tax lady sent you.
855-715-5721. 855-715-5721. 855-715-5721. That's 855-715-5721.
Down the home stretch we go. Labor Day weekend, everyone. If you're having cookouts or you're closing up the camp or getting ready to travel, great time of year.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, we still have a few weeks of summer, Indian summer here in New England and around the country. But yeah, beautiful time of year.
All right, I want to give a shout out to Rebecca Barrow and everybody at Miraval Berkshires. Boy, I tell you what, it is a wonderful property, the old Cranwells, for all you people in New York, Connecticut, up and down the East Coast, and from all over the world. They come to the Berkshires from Massachusetts. Norman Rockwell, you spent a lot of time out there.
Major renovation up there. Yeah, they had a grand reopening. Yeah, beautiful place. So we'll hopefully be having them on the show shortly. And yeah, beautiful area. The Berkshires, a lot of people from New York City come up that way. It is an absolutely culture.
A lot of people are moving out of New York City up there.
Right, yeah, great restaurants. Yeah. There's just so much to do up there. Really a fun place to visit.
All right, football on Thursday night. What do you think?
Kansas City.
Yeah, you like the Chiefs.
I do. I love Deshaun Watson, though. Mm-hmm. I do. Aside from the humanitarian aid that he does and work that he does, I do. I think he is definitely one to watch. I think he's phenomenal. Of course, we now find that Cam Newton's been tapped to be the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots. Very excited about that. Go Cam Newton. And of course, we've got prime time on Sunday with the New England Patriots. And right after that, the Tampa Bay Bucks with Mr. Tom Brady.
Yeah, against Drew Brees and New Orleans Saints. So it feels good to talk about it. NFL football right around the corner. All right, phenomenal work. How do they get a hold of you?
Hello at elevatedmediaesq.com. Visit the website elevatedmediaesq.com and also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Elevating with Marcia, or Elevated Media ESQ on Facebook or Instagram and Twitter.
All right, Super Mario, phenomenal job out of you. Thanks to Ron Barr, Darren Peck, everyone in San Francisco at Sports Byline.